Hi, it's Dot, and welcome to my low-carb cooking channel. Tonight is a special night. It's mine and the cameraman's wedding anniversary. And so we decided because we've been eating out an awful lot, and we're breaking that habit, and I'm gonna make our anniversary dinner at home tonight. So I do have a special ingredient that I'm using. Tonight I'm making a bacon-wrapped pork tenderloin, and bacon is not the special ingredient, although bacon is always special, but it's gonna have a balsamic strawberry sauce on top of it. So with that, let's get cooking. So the ingredients I'm working with, I've got black pepper, I have dried rosemary, only because the grocery store didn't have fresh rosemary. That's perfectly fine. I have kosher salt, I have some finely chopped up garlic, and I have 1 pork tenderloin. So this is about a 1.5 pound tenderloin that I'm working with. I've got bacon, thin cut bacon, that's really important, and you want to make sure there's no added nitrates to it. And if you can, find bacon that hasn't been cured in sugar, and that's really a tough order for the most part because most bacon is cured in sugar. But if you can, great. If you can't, do what you can. You know, I'm not going to tell you don't eat bacon. So for the strawberries, I have them soaking in balsamic vinegar. They've been soaking for about an hour, and I cut them very thinly. That's important, so it's just slices. It is 1 cup of whole strawberries I'm using, and I just slice them thin, and it does make a difference in the carb count. And the other thing is, besides the rosemary, I'm using kosher salt and black pepper in here. So let them soak for an hour. What I did, every so often, about every 15 minutes, I used a spoon and I simply just mixed them up, stirred them to make sure all the strawberries some are on the bottom. I bring the ones at the bottom up to the top. So this is going to go into the frying pan pretty soon. Just not yet. First, I got to prepare my pork tenderloins. And basically what I'm going to do is right here on the pork tenderloin, you have what's called the silver skin because it's just silvery in color. That's it. And you want to remove that. You can't eat it. It's too tough. And it's just really annoying, just gets in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and slice it. So typically what you do, I'm actually going to flip my meat around, and then you typically would just go underneath, and you just sort of put a slice in there, and then you want to aim upward. You want to tilt your knife off so that you're taking off the least amount of actual meat, and you're just going to cut through. Sort of just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'll slice that off when I turn it back around. And when we come back, we'll start seasoning the pork. All right, so now I'm going to start seasoning my pork tenderloin. And I'm just going to add in the kosher sea salt. I'm just sort of putting it on with the pepper and then also the rosemary. And then I'll rub it in once I get parts of it in here, a little bit more of the rosemary. And I'm just going to season it as I go. And I just sort of rub it in. And the moisture, although the meat, I dried it off after I washed it, still has enough moisture in there, so I want to just get all up in there with all of my ingredients. All right, I've seasoned my pork tenderloin. I'm now going to go ahead and wrap it in bacon. And the reason why I'm using bacon, besides the fact that bacon is just awesome, is the fact that pork tenderloins are really very lean cuts of meat. And with low carb, you tend to go for the more fattier cuts. So what you do with a pork tenderloin is you add some fat to it. So you can use sauces like a hollandaise to serve it with. I'm just wrapping it with bacon, and all I'm doing is I'm just taking the bacon and I'm just doing just that. I'm just wrapping it around the pork. And you want to pull it a little taut if you can, because you don't want it falling off, but I have something that'll help keep the bacon on. And I'm using a thin slice of bacon, so that's really important. Bacon's all wrapped, but I want to secure the bacon. Now you can use toothpicks to secure it. However, what I find is it makes it a little bit difficult when you're trying to also sear the meat, which is what I'm going to be doing next before it goes into the oven. So instead, I'm just going to use some kitchen twine, and I'm just going to go ahead and sort of go along and gently go underneath. This side is going to go underneath this way, and then I'm just sort of, doing a cross. Here we go. And I'm just sort of going up the meat. So that'll help secure the bacon in there. So I don't have to, completely wrap it in twine, but I just have to make some crisscrosses throughout the piece. Okay, went ahead and I tied off my pork loin, as you can see, so the bacon is secure. I actually ended up needing a little bit more twine, so you always want to make sure you have plenty on hand. I'm going to go ahead and just snip this little piece off that I tied in the middle, and I'll just put this right here. And then next thing I'm going to do is we're going to take this over to the stove and we're going to start sauteing this, and we're also going to get started on the strawberry sauce as well. All right, I have my oil in my pan. I'm going to put my pork loin in. You can hear a sizzle. And all I'm going to do is sear the meat. And basically, I want it a nice golden brown. And it's when I say golden brown, that's the bacon. I'm searing, the meat will be seared by this, but the truth is, this is the best way to get your bacon a little bit crispy and add some color to the bacon. Because when you just put it in the oven for the period of time I'm going to be cooking the meat, it's not enough time for the bacon to crisp up, get a nice dark brown color. This way you're going to add some coloring to your bacon. All right, I seared the pork loin on all sides. So now I'm just going to go ahead. It's going in the oven. I preheated the oven at 375. It's going to go in the oven for about 10 minutes until it hits 150 degrees. I'm going to take it out of the oven after that. I'm going to let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes. And as soon as you take meat out of the oven, it still is cooking. So the temperature is still going to go up. So it'll hit about 160, which is for medium, which is what I want. Pork is technically speaking done at 145, but I want a nice medium heat on this. So I want to get to 160. So the pork loin's in the oven. I've got about 10 minutes, which is more than enough time to get the strawberries done, but they're going to simmer for the bulk of the time. So I'm going to go ahead. I have my oil. I'm using ghee. I have that in here already heating up on a. I have it over a medium-high heat, and I'm just adding in my garlic. I don't want to cook the garlic very long. I'm actually making sure it's medium-high, and I don't really want it to brown. I just want to saute it until it's fragrant. And guess what? I can smell it right now. So it really is like a short period of time, maybe about 20, 30 seconds. And then the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add my balsamic strawberries. Now remember, I left these soaking in balsamic vinegar for an hour. So it's bubbling, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the temperature down to low because I want it to saute for about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer. It's going to be here until the pork is out of the oven. I wanted to quickly show you what the strawberries are going to look like when they've been reduced down, or the balsamic vinegar has been reduced down. It's a nice thick sauce, and that's exactly what you want. My pork loin, or my pork tenderloin I should say, is sitting and it's resting. It smells absolutely delicious. It has this lovely scent of balsamic vinegar, but it's muted by the very nice strawberry scent, so it really just brings out the flavors. I did sample the taste of it, the flavor as well as the scent of the strawberry. And there's also a little hint of rosemary, which is just yummy. So I can't wait to get this onto the pork. But I did take the heat off. It's as thickened as I want it. Look at that, it just thickens. In moments, my husband and I are going to enjoy a delicious anniversary dinner. All right, I have my pork loin. It's rested for about 5-7 minutes. I did end up leaving it in the oven a little bit longer than the 10 minutes, only because my meat thermometer broke on me. It's just dead. It went kaput, went away. So I cooked it just a little bit longer, so it's pretty firm when I press on it. But it's not overly firm, I hope. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. I already cut the string off, and all you're going to do is just go ahead and unwind the string. You just want to do it gently and not rip it off, but you want to use some momentum you've got. I have half the string on here. I'll take that off, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and slice. You're just going to cut into medallions. I'm just going to go ahead and slice through. See, that's exactly what you want. You want a little bit of pink is okay. Whoops. Don't want to take off that. Oh, it looks lovely. So I'm going to go ahead and put the strawberries on. The dish I have is, I made it for two, for me and my husband. And the recipe I'm going to have below is going to show you how to make it for 4 people. But you just sort of drizzle the strawberries on. And they're oh so tasty and they smell delicious. And you just want to make sure you sort of do it evenly. But that's pretty much it. We're going to have that with a spinach salad. And the nice thing about this is the strawberries and rosemary really is a good combination, but so is having spinach. I have a spinach, goat cheese, and walnut salad that I'm using, which all three also go very well with strawberries. So it's perfect. I just top this with a little bit of olive oil, and I hope you give it a try. I also hope that if you're new to the channel, you go ahead and subscribe, like, and share the video. Until next time, I'll see you.